Hi, everybody. Welcome to this webinar of Silicon Valley Certification Hub. Today, we will talk about B2B sales and how to grow with business-to-business deals. So here with us is Alec Petros. Petros, his founding team, he's part of the founding team of Orium. So how are you, Alec? How's everything going?
Doing amazing, Alejandro. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Good. Tell us a little bit more about you and what do you
Yeah,
do with Orium?
yeah, 100%. I'm Alec, part of the founding team of Orium. We really are on the forefront of technology. Everyone probably says that these days, especially being in San Francisco, but we're building multimodal impersonation for selling. So we're building our own foundational models to really impersonate you to sell through voice, through text, through video. And we're really at the forefront of it. So I'm really excited to share some insights today of sort of what we're seeing. We have seen everything in AI and B2B sales. So would love to give some sort of feedback and our own guidance of what we're seeing, industry trends, etc. So excited to dive in.
Perfect. Nice, nice. So as you already saw in the title of this event, we are talking about smart selling, how B2B teams are using AI to win more deals. So today actually will be more like a conversation. So there's no slides, no pitches, nothing like that. It's more like based on Alec experience, we will talk about how to give you the best tips and so you can sell more in B2B. So let's start with a simple question. Alec, are you ready for the question?
I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared. No, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Perfect. So where should B2B sales teams start with AI implementation?
Yeah, 100%. I will preface it with I didn't say this at the top of the intro, but I am not an engineer. So our team is predominantly AI engineers. I am non-technical. I say I'm a people engineer. So I can tell it to you sort of how it is, sort of how the user actually interacts with this stuff rather than like the technical stuff. But so yeah, more than happy to dive into that. How to get started with AI in sales. What I like to say is really like AI is augmenting how we are experiencing sales. A lot of work that we don't want to do in sort of top of the funnel research is what it can take over, right? So I think the biggest thing is you have to test things out. Everyone's ICP is different. Everyone's customer is different. Their buyer persona is different. And the beauty of AI is you get so much data, right? When you have a salesperson, you have to ask them questions on what worked, what didn't work. When you're implementing these sort of strategies that are using artificial intelligence to sell, they give you the data for you, right? Like I was on a call with someone really interesting yesterday, and he was like, pretty much with what our team's building is, it's like, hey, if you could have an SDR with 10 years of experience, that is like invaluable because that has never existed. There has never been an SDR with 10 years of experience who knows 10 years about cybersecurity, right? The beauty of AI is it knows 10 years of experience, right? And it's able to 10x, 100x your output. So I think really the trick is test, start small, start using tools, start using automations, see if you can make yourself more efficient. At the beginning, you probably will be wasting some time. It probably will not be making you more efficient, but sort of as you scale with it and as you sort of test out things and get the data of what worked, what didn't work, is when you really see that increased ROI.
Nice. And going a step before that,
Okay.
testing these different automation and so on.
Yeah.
Imagine that you have a great idea for a business. So
hmm
what do you think should be the first steps before going into AI? I don't know, maybe think about data, thinking about processes, think about just idea. Like what do you recommend here?
So like we have a business idea, we're in ideation phase. We just want help like building it out. Yeah. It's you gotta ask questions of the tools. When I have a when you if Chat GPT, the Claude, the Geminis, right, the Groks, these can solve like 90% of our problems. I think that the problem with them is there is sort of I mean, AI is only as good as how well you prompt it. What better you prompt it, the better answers you get. So the trick is ask it how to prompt it. Ask ChatGPT what to, hey, I'm trying to do this. What should I ask you to get this out of it? Whether it's on the technical side, whether it's building a title, building your deck. So ask it what it wants, right? And feed that back into it, I think is really the trick, what we've seen. So if you're trying to solve a technical problem and you're trying to sort of vibe code, ask these tools, hey, this is where I am. This is where I'm trying to get, right? What prompt should I ask you to sort of get from one to two, from 0 to 1? I think that's really the starting point is use these tools like your right-hand guy. Like use them, ask them the questions, and then feed that information right back into it.
That's really smart. Like use the tool to ask how to be a better tool and take
Yeah.
most of the advantage of it.
Yeah. That's what I do. That's what our team does.
Really, really nice. I think, by
Yeah.
the way, maybe some people do not know really well what Arium does. If you can
Yeah.
explain to us, like like in short.
10, yeah. As simple as it gets is we increase your pipeline. We do lead generation for you, as specific as you're trying to sell to. I'm trying to sell to managing directors of construction companies in New York City. AI is really good at connecting dots and being hyper specific. We generate these list of leads through LinkedIn. And then the beauty of what we do is we handle all the conversations. So we impersonate you on LinkedIn, have a full conversation with this lead back, full back and forth conversation, embed with your calendar, know everything about what you're selling, everything about what you're trying to get out of this, all the data of a 10-year SDR. Like that was sort of the analogy I was giving is this thing has 10 years of experience. It knows everything about the industry, knows everything about what you're selling, and fully automates the booked call. So you're going to get a booked call on your calendar, notification on your phone saying a meeting has been booked, and you didn't lift a finger. That's what we do.
Perfect. Great,
It's
great.
it's as exciting as it gets. It really is exciting as it gets.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. When I understood the tool. I said like, wow, that's really smart. Like this is changing
Yeah.
all B2B sales because it's so complicated, all the
Mm-hmm.
funnel so long that is automatizing like this relevant part of communicating with people on LinkedIn is like, oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's really amazing. Good. And
Time saver. It's a time saver for sure.
totally. And times is money. So really payoffs at the end. Nice.
100%.
So next question, Alec. What makes
Hit
human
me.
salespeople irreplaceable in complex B2B deals?
Yes. I think my sort of 10-year thesis, I don't know, I can't go past 10 years, is that you can't replace the salesperson. There is a part of sales that requires face to face. There is a part of sales that requires you to fall in love with me. It requires you to see yourself in my shoes, right? There are so many products out there. And especially in these larger B2B deals where you're dealing with 6, 7, 8-figure deals, you're not doing that with software. You're not buying that from an AI, right? You're not going to talk to a robot to make a transaction like that. You want to see me. You want to see my face. You want to see my emotions. You want to shake my hand. There's a certain amount of human touch and human feel that I think is required in the deal. A lot of the transactions that I've been a part of, it's because they liked me. There was something about Alec that they trusted. And when there's something about me that they trust and they can see it, they can see it in my eyes, that's when you're able to make that deal. And I don't think AI is at the place either in both sides, in our trust to it or in its trust, of its actual ability to have these conversations to where you can do that. So I think how sort of I look at AI sales, or excuse, like when you're using AI to sort of augment sales, is that like a company like mine, like we're not in the business of replacing people, right? Like we're in the business of augmenting. We're in the business of making you more efficient. I talk to BDRs, they're like, hey, like I have to book 5 calls a week. That's my quota. I'll help you book 7, right? I'll book you 2 more calls, I'll book you 3 more calls a week. And now we just raise the bar. All AI does, I think, right now is raise the bar, make people more efficient, do that work that you don't want to do. Nobody wants to do top of the funnel prospecting, right? A BDR at Salesforce wants to go to the dinner, wants to go to the deal, right? You want to close that, you don't want to find them. So I think we're in a really, really interesting spot where tooling has gone to the point where it can impersonate you well enough to, and I think actually better than ourselves to get that call, to get that intro and deploy yourself. Spend more of your time on, sort of crafting your message and deploying yourself into the meeting, into the dinner, and closing the deal. So I think we're at least 5 to 10 years out from removing humans from, these complex deals.
Great. I'm thinking, for example, like somebody that is executive or the chief revenue officer of a
Hmm.
company, and
Hmm.
they are thinking about using AI, Orium, or other tool for
Yeah.
this without uh, creating like some stress to their teams. So what do you think will be the
Yeah.
right approach of them to communicate to the salespeople about how to use AI for their work? You mentioned a little bit, but what other
Yeah.
things could be good?
Yeah. I think there has to be trust from leadership to the people who they're managing. And the question is, I mean, I've talked to a lot of salespeople that when you introduce them a tool like ours, they're like, hey, if I show my company this, they're not gonna, they don't need me. They don't need me anymore. This is my job. You're doing my job. But that's what I was mentioning before, is there has to be trust. There has to be a level of like, hey, I will give you these tools to make yourself more efficient, but I want you to keep your job because you have to go show face. Someone has to show face. Someone also has to interact with the platform, right? Someone has to, interact with the platform, make sure everything's working right, and then doing the other steps. So if you're able to take time away from something, you're able to double down on something else. And that's sort of the conversation people need to have with their managers of like, hey, if I bring in a tool like this to do my LinkedIn outreach, so I was spending 10 hours a week, right? I will spend that 10 hours on something else. If you're able to have that conversation transparently and honestly, I think you're safe. There is some trust of assuming that nobody's lying and your managers aren't gonna sort of see how you're augmenting yourself and making yourself more efficient and being like, okay, maybe we don't need you, but that's the game. The game is not replacing people. Nobody wants to do that. Like I think that's just morally wrong. But if we can increase pipeline with the same amount of people, it's hard to say no to that.
And maybe sometimes it's difficult to measure the ROI.
Yeah.
So what do you recommend that it could be a good way to measure kind of the impact on
Yeah.
for them?
That's an interesting question, because a lot of the tooling that exists takes time to work. There's no silver bullets in this yet. It is hard to make something that immediately, hey, I just 5x pipeline, right? For example, with our company, when someone joins our platform, it takes time for the models to train. The longer you stay with it, the better it gets. The more it learns about you, the more it learns about your sales. When you take over a message, it learns why you took over that message. The next time, it won't. It will know what to say. It will send that response back. So it sometimes takes time to sort of cross the chasm and train these models to become smart. So I think you need to understand that there's a little bit of a grace period. There is a time where things are your implementation. Think of like implementation time before we're really at like 100% RAM period. Once you get to that point where you're at 100% RAM period of using these tooling, just put that data against the data of what was working before. For example, if you're testing a new way, a new platform, you're going from email to a LinkedIn to a call, right? Compare your email data, your click-through rates there, and how many deals you're closing there to your LinkedIn tooling, to your cold call tooling. And the beauty of a lot of these AI tools, they do the reporting for you, right? You don't need to ask your sales rep, oh, how many calls did you make today? How many of them, responded? How many of them were booked, follow-up booked, right? These platforms do that for you. Like our platform gives you that information for you. So you can really, you want to compare apples to apples. You can put, hey, my conversion data with your conversion data. My time saved is how much time you spent there. I think you really need to compare things to make sure you're getting that right ROI. But the caveat is give it time. There's no silver bullet with this. It takes time for things to work. It takes time for these systems to implement. But once you really get ramped up, you'll probably be in a good spot, efficiency wise.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Like
Yeah.
people with all this, everything is going so fast that also we want fast results. And sometimes
Yeah.
that's not the best strategy. The best strategy
Yeah.
is, as you mentioned, take your time, compare then results versus the past, so maybe an A/B test, and iterate
Hmm.
from there.
We are in like a go, go, go now, now, now environment. I'm calling out of a accelerator in San Francisco that you live out of, you breathe out of, you do everything here. So I'm accustomed to that the craziness of working 7 days a week and wanting results fast. But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to take a step back. We are at the bleeding edge. We are at the forefront of technology. Like every day there is a new advancement. Like if you've been in AI for 6 months, you can be an expert. You can be like a leading expert because everything is so new. So you have to there takes time. Like there's bugs, there's problems. Like stuff happens because of how we're pushing. We're pushing it, right? Every day we're really pushing. So because of that, you have to give it the benefit of the doubt. You have to trust it and you sort of have to be like, okay, let's see, let's give it some time before you really make that judgment. That's what I've been saying.
By the way, I think for me it was fascinating to hear about the accelerator. We have it in other conversation, but I don't
Yeah.
know what you can share here with the audience about that experience. How's that work? Also, it's super difficult to enter that specific accelerator. So if you can tell us like what's happened inside.
Yeah, it's crazy. We're in like a 30,000 square foot mansion in San Francisco. The accelerator is called HF0. There are thousands and tens of thousands of applicants. They let in 10 startups every quarter for a 12-week program, and it's a live-in residency. Founders live here 7 days a week. It is like a monastery. All distractions are removed. So all you do is build. All you do is push code. All you do is implement the product and change things for 12 weeks with every single thing, every single detail in your life is taken care of. Your food is cooked for you. Your clothes are laundered, like your dry cleaning is done. Your clothes are ironed. Your pills are picked up. Anything that you would be spending time on outside of work is completed. So all you focus on is work, and you're around such motivating people, which I think is one of the biggest values of, hey, you're working till 2 a.m. and you want to go to bed, but there's still someone working and you see it. They're right across from you. There's still someone there. You're like, I got to outwork this guy. And then you go to bed and then you wake up and that same guy was in the office before you. There's something about seeing that in an ecosystem like this that really fires up people. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. 12-week live-in residency, like like monastery for hackers is the best way to explain it. So it's been awesome so far.
Wow, wow. What other companies or what do they do? Like, what are the other companies that are there?
Yeah, there's currently 10 companies. Where all of them are in AI, some sense, right? That's as good as it gets right now. A few of them are in hardware, most of them are in software. I am not exactly, sure of sharing the names of all of them, but there will be a demo day at the end of the 12 weeks, and everyone goes live on sort of what they're building and what happened. And that's the day where you can see sort of what was the success of these past 12 weeks. The last 12 weeks had a great success of the last program they did, the last cohort. So let's see what happens. Our demo day is at the beginning of December. So we're really excited for that too. And fingers crossed it goes well.
Nice. So really, this next month will be crazy for you, but nice.
Yes. Yes.
Congrats to you and all the founding team.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a journey. It's been a journey for sure. I've done incubators in the basement of my old school. I went to USC and I was in an incubator through the Greif Center in the basement. We had no windows, no nothing, and there's no amenities. And now we have this. So it's great to see. We're more than grateful to be here.
Nice, amazing. Congrats. Now let's go to
Thank you. Thank
the
you.
final question, by the way, to go back to the recommendations for B2B sales.
Yeah.
So, final question so far, because I think that I will have a couple more later. But what do you think? Like, what parts of the sales process can AI actually replace today?
Yeah. Back to business. I like it. Top of the funnel. Top of the funnel is where I would trust it 100%. That is the work that nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to send the emails. Nobody wants to send the LinkedIn messages. Nobody wants to do those cold calls. So I think managing lead generation and the teams like ours that are on sort of the frontier of handling conversations is where you want to do it. I'm not a fan of dialing. I'm not a fan of sort of these AI SDRs that are doing these automated dials and automated emails. I think you have to sort of number one is you have to choose your platform. You have to choose what you think works best. We are extremely bullish on LinkedIn because it is super personal and personable. And you can have 20 email addresses, you only have one LinkedIn. So we really advise people to use LinkedIn. But yeah, I think the top of the funnel work is sort of the grunt work. It's find the leads and doing those first couple conversations is the work that nobody wants to do and is the easiest to take off your plate so you can close more deals. If I can save you 10 hours a week, you have 10 more hours to close more deals, right? And it's because of the top of the funnel work that everyone has to do. You cannot get around it. Number one goal for any sales leader is to increase pipeline. If you can guarantee increased pipeline for them, like that's the biggest thing. So if you're able to automate that and sort of let like give your employees like the autonomy and agency to be able to close more deals and get in front of more customers, it's a win-win. But I don't think we're at the point yet where you can get deeper into the sales cycle, deeper into the other strategies, like actually impersonating people and having like people talk to a robot. I'm not sure if we're there yet, but doing the lead generation and the top of the funnel, AI is mastered.
Perfect. And I agree totally. And now I have another question. Like, what do you think are the don'ts for B2B sales?
Don't try too many things at once. I think it comes back to the trust thing that there is no silver bullet. Nobody has a silver bullet yet. Maybe we will one day. So try platforms, try different things. Give them some time, give them some grace, and test them out and see what works, what doesn't work. But I wouldn't throw 10 things in your tool stack, in your sort of in your technology to test. I would start small and make sure things work. Find the people you trust, find the teams you trust, maybe the teams you can go even meet with and see in person. So yeah, I would really start small. We're not in a place yet where you want to just turn everything on and hope for the best. Like you want to monitor this. You really want to monitor this and make sure it's working up to your specs. So yeah, just don't go too crazy yet.
Oh, that nice advice, because sometimes because
Thanks.
of the rush and all the
Yeah.
possibilities and all the comments, like, oh, try TikTok, try Instagram, whatever, but without a clear, specific strategy, it could be
Yeah.
really messy.
100%. 100%. You have to make sure it's dialed in. Make sure you have conviction based on what you're doing. If you have conviction on it, do it 100%, right? Hit it hard. Hit it hard.
Perfect. Good. And last advice that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah. I mean, we are in an interesting time in life where people are doing crazy things in technology. And my advice is try to be on the bleeding edge. Try to either be a part of these teams or test out what these teams are doing and give your advice, give your feedback. It is highly valuable. We are, trying to augment sales teams. We're trying to augment sales cycles. These are industries that have existed for so many years, right? Tens, 20, hundreds of years, right? So yeah, just like try to help these teams out, test out what they're doing, give feedback, give advice. It's a great time to be alive. It's a scary time to be alive, but we're excited. So we just got to keep building. Be on the right side of history. When you're on a rocket ship, you can't get scared when it takes off. You just got to hold on. That's what I like to say.
Totally. Perfect, Alec. So if you do you want to share like your social media or company information?
Please, please, yeah. So yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm posting there all the time. Just Alec Petros. Our company is called Aurium, AURIUM. .ai is the website. Check us out if you want to just hop on a call and chat sort of about LinkedIn strategy. It is our expertise. We've sent hundreds of thousands of messages, so we get fired up to talk about LinkedIn strategy. So yeah, feel free to reach out, connect with me on LinkedIn. But Alejandro, I really appreciate this. This was awesome. It's always great chatting. So thank you so much.
Well, thanks to you, Alec, and thank you everybody to that is here in the webinar. And please let us know if you have some question or something, and we will have another call with Alec to go more in detail, and we can answer all your questions. Thank you,
100%. Looking
everybody.
forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.